going to use terminologies. I'm just going to talk to you in layman language where everybody's going to benefit, because we know that this is a problem. There's nothing we are going to say that even for your age now, you all know what is happening. So Dr. Wale, please take over when I come back.
All right. Thank you very much, my HOD, Dr. Ajirotutu. It is a great privilege for me to tag along with you in this presentation. First of all, let me start by thanking the staffs and management of Edgewood College, for giving us the opportunity for us to come today again to preach that message, of drug abuse in the community. And it's a very good start that we are starting at catching them young at the teenage age. And this is the period I feel they have to be informed. We need to
Wale, please, Wale, yes, 1 minute, please. Can I call attention to class 9A? 9A, I could see discussions going there. My friend in the red shirt is laughing and talking. We want total attention. Year 10B, please. I want attention. I want you to listen to this. This is all for you. Sixth form is calm. I can see that. Year 10A is calm. I can see that. So my friend in 9A, who is wearing red, I can't see whether it's on glasses. Yes, the teacher has gone to meet him. The teacher is behind him. So we need total attention and concentration. Thank you. Wale, go on.
All right. Thank you very much, my HOD, sir. So like I was still saying, I was still appreciating the management and staff of Edgewood College for giving us the opportunity for us to come today to actually preach the message of drug abuse. And I feel now is the best time for us to create the awareness for them to be aware of the pandemic that is in town concerning substance use, so that they don't find themselves in the web. So this morning or this afternoon, as the case may be, we'll be talking about substance abuse. And if you want to say youth, if you want to say teenager, it's okay. The causes and its effects. So we all know, we've all been hearing what is drug abuse, what is drug abuse, yes, what is drug use, and the rest of that. For some of us, it might be the first time you're hearing that. And that's why I want to encourage us to just sit back, let's listen very well so that we can take something home at the end of this webinar. So without wasting much of your time, we'll just go into drug abuse and mental illness. One of the major causes of today of mental illness is drug abuse. In fact, I can tell you for a fact that if you have 10 patients in the hospital today, 9 of them are substance use disorder related mental illness. So what am I trying to say is that mental illness is a very prominent thing in our society today. It's a menace, it's something that everybody, should pay attention to, especially we parents, even with the children. We should be very careful. We are bringing this so that you can gain a lot of knowledge, you can understand, you can be aware that these are things you're supposed to do and these are the things you're not supposed to do. So drug abuse is the #1 cause of mental illness today. And what is mental illness? Mental illness is psychological disturbance, when you're not balanced psychologically, when you're not okay, in terms of how you think, in terms of your memory, in terms of your emotions, in terms of your behavior. When all these things are not together, you say that individual has a mental illness. I'm sure most of us are familiar with people you see on the road that is probably, we call them vagrants. They're always on the streets, going up and down. Well, sometimes those are not really, those are extreme cases of mental illness. An individual going through mental illness could just be a very physical appearance. You could look very healthy, you could look very good, but mentally, it's actually not balanced. So substance use can lead to that state of mental illness whereby you will not be balanced psychologically. You'll be disturbed in terms of your thinking, your memory, your emotions, and your behavior. Also, when an individual has a severe mental condition, it's enough to cause that individual pain and distress. You just find out that you're having pain and distress. In fact, not only for that individual, but for everybody around that individual, in terms of your family members, your friends, even in school, your teachers will know there's something wrong with this child. This child is not okay mentally, So these are some of the things that you can see when an individual begins to have a mental health condition, which I said, substance is one major thing, or drug abuse is one major thing that can actually cause mental illness. So we're now going to from drug use to addiction. Drug use to addiction. How does drug even start? What is drug use? You know, when an individual, or let me put it this way, drug use refers to occasional use of substances such as alcohol, cigarettes, cannabis, methamphetamine, ice, you know, all these hard drugs. I'm still going to mention most of these drugs. When you start using probably for occasional purpose or experimental purpose or for recreational purpose, your drug use journey has already started. You know, you might just start as maybe I just want to experiment. I want to feel what it's like. I want to just, my friend is telling me about this thing. Let me just try it and see. Your journey to addiction has already started. And before you know it, you start abusing it. You know, from drug use now, I just want to taste it. I just want to see how it feels. Oh, what this person is enjoying, I want to enjoy it as well. Let me see how it feels. From there, you know, gradually, you now start, it's kind of a build-up. Before you know it, you start have what we call the drug abuse. And drug abuse is a pathological use of such hard drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, all brand of cannabis, ice, crack, and the rest of that. When you have this pathological use, you don't have any reason for using it, you just start using it, you know, it means that drug abuse have started setting in gradually. And it's being characterized by daily intoxication. You want to use it like every day, you know, you just feel that feeling that I just need to, why don't I don't know, but I just want to use it. You know, drug abuse is already setting in. Also, you have an inability to resume to reduce the consumption. You know, you just find yourself that maybe when you started with a very small tip. Before you know it, you're already finishing a bottle. Before you know, you're already finishing 2 bottles. Before you know, you're already finishing 5 bottles. So that inability for you to reduce consumption is always there. And before you know it, there will be impairment in a lot of things in terms of, even in school, you cannot concentrate anymore. The social activities will definitely drop. Concentration, your thinking, everything will definitely drop. It's already started affecting you. And when it starts affecting you, there's something we call that drug addiction. Drug addiction has already set in. You know, we clinicians refer to that as drug dependence. I hope you can hear me. Hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, good. Go on, sir. Drug dependence has definitely set in. So drug dependence is being, or drug addiction is being regarded as a chronic relapsing brain disorder. By the time drug addiction comes in, your brain is already start getting damaged. And we as teenagers, we as youth, we as students, we need our brain to function optimally. We need our brain to function optimally. But when we start getting introduced to substance use, alcohol, cigarettes, cannabis, it begins, when addiction sets in, it begins to affect the brain. And as such, we will say that individual is already having a brain disorder. And when you have this brain disorder, what are those features you will see? There will be this impulsive seeking behavior of the substance. You just want to do that thing. You just want to use it. You know, you'll be seeking for any substance, that particular substance, you'll be seeking for it. You'll just be looking for it. Anything that, it might take you anything. If it is money, you will do everything to get the money to buy that substance. You could do anything. You could go extra lengths. You could steal. You could tell lie. You could do different things once addiction sets in. And don't forget, it also has negative consequences. We will not even bother about negative consequences. All we'll be thinking about is how to use this substance. So like I said earlier, I'll be talking about what are even these substances. I wish we were having a physical sessions. I would have just gone around to ask us what are those physical substances. But due to the fact that it's more of a virtual presentation, I'll just go ahead to mention most of these substances. And the number one on my list is cigarettes. You know, today we have all different kind of cigarettes, the tobacco. The main components of most of these cigarettes is nicotine. And nicotine has proven to be very, very addictive. So we as students, we as teenagers, please don't go near a cigarette. Because the moment you start using it, there's a tendency for you to get addicted to it. And the main component of that tobacco or nicotine is nicotine, which is very, very addictive. So our encouragers have to know to abstain from cigarettes. The next one is alcohol, which is very, very common. Most of us in our home, there is one, they decided that used to have a, what's it called? A bar at home. And that bar is made up of different kind of alcohols. Yes, daddy can take alcohol because daddy has gotten to a stage in life that he has managed himself very well. He has been successful. He knows how to manage. But our own brain is still growing. So we should do everything possible to abstain from all form of alcohol, or from all form of alcohol, be it beer, be it gin, be it whiskey, be it brandy, anything, even as much as caffeine. We should try as much as possible to abstain from it. The next one I'm going to mention is cannabis, which is very, very rampant in our society today. You know, it has different names for it. We'll have the loud, we'll have the SK, we have the Arizona, we have the skunk, we have the Colos, which is the latest one in town. Please, I'm trying to make us realize most of these names so that it won't sound strange to us. They are all psychoactive substances, and we should do everything possible to stay away from it. So there's another one we call the inhalants. You know, something you inhale, form of gas. There's something I used to call nitrates, gas nitrate. They used to call pop. You know, I know even most of us have seen it. You know, paints, thinner. You know, these are substances that people inhale just to get high. Someone was telling me even sometime ago, they used to inhale toilets. You go and inhale toilets just to, you know, feel that sense of highness. You know, so it's as bad as that. You know, so we have the hallucinogens as well. These are chemical components, you know, very, very addictive, which we could also classify as a psychoactive substance. We have the stimulants, you know, such as the cocaine, you know, the crack, the methamphetamine, the ice, which we locally call umpumiri, you know, all these has psychoactive substances. They are very, very dangerous, very, very dangerous. We also have the opioids. You know, these are also chemical substances that we're supposed to probably is being prescribed or non-prescribed, you know, such as the codeine, you know, the heroin, the pentatoxin, you know, oxydone. So these are substances that I mention all these names so that we can get familiar to it, and so that it doesn't sound as if it's sounding strange to us. When a friend told us, tell us, oh, come and take codeine. You know, that codeine is a psychoactive substance. No, I'm not interested. I will never do that. Those are what we expect of you. You know, and that's the reason why I need to tell us. There could be many of them that I've never mentioned. Many of them. You know, so you have the sedatives, so many of them. You know, but I think I will just stop there. So I'm saying this so that it doesn't sound strange to us when we eventually come to hear more about most of these substances. Then we'll move to the next thing. What are the prevalence rate of drug use, especially among students, teenagers? You know, what is the prevalence? What is that? What is the prevalence rate of drug use among students, especially teenagers? In 2022, the United Nations Office of Drug and Crime, UNODC, in 2022, conducted a research globally, and I'll be also taking statistics from the one of Nigeria, where he used secondary school students in Nigeria. And the result of that research was so alarming. And I'll start from Southwest, where we are, which comprises of about 6 states. They reported about 21.7% of substance use, you know, among teenagers, especially secondary school children, you know, and those substances were being like alcohol, cigarettes, codeine, and tramadol. You know, what this means that about 21% of people in Southwest, children within the age of that teenager who are supposed to be in secondary school, are involved in substance. I hope none of us here are involved, are part of that 21.7%. I just hope so. However, Katsina State recorded the highest of students with substance use reports or substance use, with a percentage of 37%, you know, being the highest state of teenagers, secondary students who are involved in substance use. You know, so they also went further to mention that nearly about 15% showed signs of harmful and problematic use, meaning that out of that population, there were people that are already getting addicted to it. They were using probably every day, probably every time. About 50% of them showed signs of harmful and problematic use. And they went further to also tell us that those substances, how it's being used. Alcohol has a high rate of 31.3, followed by cigarettes, which is 23.1%. Marijuana, which is cannabis, had a percentage of 10.2%. Then codeine and tramadol still on the rise. So those are the prevalence. So it means that we have to be very, very careful, because you can just speak of yourself. You don't know the next person close to you, So be very, very sure that you don't get yourself involved in substance use, whatever substance, be it alcohol, be it cigarette. You try, not even now, even after school, and I'll tell you reasons why. So we'll go to the next slide, which talks about why do students, teenagers start using substance use? Why?
Hello, sir. Please, can you share your slide with us, sir?
I don't know if I can.
Screen? You can share screen, yes.
I'll try to see if I can do that.
Thank
so,
you,
why do students or teenagers start using substance? And the first thing I have here is out of curiosity. Curiosity is the first thing. I want to know what is even really happening. That thing that my daddy is using, that thing that Brother Lekon is using, that thing that Brother Alfred is using, that thing that Sister Joy is using. I want to even see what is this like. Oh, that drink that daddy kept in the bar. Let me even have a taste of what it is. So out of curiosity, you go ahead and try it. And don't forget, these are substances. When you try it, it has a way of you have some reactions you will definitely feel. And sometimes you might even like those reactions. But at the end of it, it is very, very harmful. So curiosity is one of the number one things. Second thing has to do with friends. To belong to friends, or when a friend tells you, oh, come and try this thing out, peer influence. Come and use a little. Just the fact that you want to feel among, you want to feel among, you want to feel like, oh, I'm also grown, go ahead and try it. And the moment you try it, you just get hooked to it, So on note account, must you even try it out? That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Some people use it, or some teenagers try to use it just to feel good. Probably I've tried it at first and I enjoyed the feeling. I said, it made me feel somehow. I think I enjoyed that feeling. You want to feel good again, and you go ahead to try it. Sometimes too, because of celebrations. Oh, when you want to celebrate, when everybody in the house, they are celebrating, they are drinking alcohol, they are smoking, they are doing a lot of things. You feel that, oh, yeah, I think I could try it too. Or sometimes you can just even carry it and go and hide somewhere and try to use as well. So this is another reason why teenagers or students want to use. Also, to function and to survive. Probably you've been using it and you enjoy the way it was making you feel, and you feel, oh, that's the best way. And I enjoyed what I feel, what I was able to achieve, or what I was able to do, how it makes me function. For that reason, you now decide that, oh, I want to continue the use, So the other one has to do with personality issues, personality traits. So I will speak as a professional. There are certain personality disorders or certain personality traits that predispose an individual to use substance. I think I'll come down a little, maybe those were that. There are some kind of individuals, some kind of children, the way they behave, the way they do things, you already in your mind, you say this individual definitely, if he sees substance, he will use. So there's some kind of personality, who that individual is, might predispose him to use substance. And one of those people has to do with maybe someone in the individual who is having what we call the antisocial personality disorder or dissocial personality. Those individuals are always likely to use substance. The other one talk about the environment. Environment is also very, very important. The kind of environment we stay determines who we are. The kind of environment we stay, it's very, very important. If substance is something that is readily available, accessible in that environment, it only takes the grace of God, okay, for you not to use. So the kind of environment we stay is also very, very important in predisposing an individual into substance use. Like I mentioned, experimentation. The next one is I'll talk about media and societal influence. Today, Most of the videos, the Wizkid, the Davido, the Burna Boy, you find out that they glorify a lot of substance. And if we have those individuals as our mentors, as a model, there's a very tendency that we want to copy their lifestyle. And as such, we might eventually start using substance. So this afternoon, I want to encourage us, if you want to follow the media, anybody you are watching, anybody you are following as a mentor, look at the life of that individual. Is it worth it? It's not about, oh, I enjoy the song, I enjoy Burna Boy, I enjoy his lifestyle. Is this something you yourself, you find yourself, is this something you would want to emulate? So it's very, very important for us to understand the link between most of these societal influences. Then also, low self-esteem has been proven also to contribute to substance, especially in teenagers. For example, if you are struggling with academics in school, everybody's cussing you, are not sharp, you are not this, they are bullying you, just talking down on you. And as such, you now have low self-esteem. And someone will tell you, oh, why not try this out? It will help you feel better. And the moment you try it, you find out that you just get hooked to the substance. So all these I've mentioned are very, very important. These are the reasons why students, why teenagers, start using substance. I just hope that we will not find ourselves in this web. If eventually we find ourselves in any of these things, we should be able to remember this lecture or this presentation and say, no, I don't want to go further with this substance. I just want to be in a more stable mental state, so I don't have mental illness. So we go to the next one, which talk about challenges of students or teenagers with substance abuse problems. Challenges of students or teenagers with substance abuse problem. And the first one I'll talk about is academics. Academics. The moment you start using substance, any of those substances I mentioned earlier, beginning from cigarettes, alcohol, cannabis, and the rest, you're already having setback academically. If you're a high flyer, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be an engineer, you want to be whatever you want to be, the moment you start using substance, the moment you get involved in substance use, drug use, you are already setting yourself backward. And I can tell you, you have decline in your grades. Yes, I keep telling my patients too, look at your life. Since you've been using substance, what have you gained? What have you benefited? Instead, it has cost you so much setback. At that time, probably you went to university, you drop out, you could not focus, you could not concentrate anymore. So this afternoon, I'm encouraging us, please, don't get yourself involved in substance use, whatever substance, because it's going to cause you real setback. There will be decline in your grade. There will be different form of absenteeism in school. You will find out that school now becomes very, very stressful. School is not interesting anymore. You're not enjoying school, and as such, you will start having absenteeism. You will lose interest. There's something we even call amotivational symptoms. Will even set in. You're not motivated to do anything. You cannot read. You cannot study. Going to class become a problem for you. Okay, so, and don't forget, in the long run, there's increased potential for you dropping out of school if you get yourself involved in substance use. So these are the ways it can affect our academics. The moment you start using substance, two major things it takes away from you: your attention and your concentration. And we as students, we need those two important things to learn: your attention and your concentration. But the moment you get introduced to substance at any level, either in secondary school, either in the university, there's every chance of you dropping out. There's every chance of you losing interest in academics. I'll go to physical health issues, that can arise as form of challenges when teenagers and students start using psychoactive substance. And the first one has to talk about accidents. It can lead to injury. You can get involved in accident because by the time you are not stable mentally. You never can tell. You can have maybe domestic accident, maybe car accident, maybe road accident, whatever accident, which might eventually lead to physical disability. So these are things that we don't want for ourselves. These are things that we don't like, won't like for ourselves. And let me tell you, one other physical health consequences it will have is there might be possible overdose. At this stage we are as a teenager, our brains is still developing. We are still growing. Even at the age of 25, your brain, scientists find out that your brain is still developing. So just imagine someone of 17 years, 15 years, 18 years, 22 years, getting himself involved in substance use. You will find out that it will start altering the way the brain is supposed to function. And as such, if you overload the brain with so much drugs, it begins to have health-related consequences, on you. And that will not be our portion. Okay? So other factors, family, how does it affect our family in terms of those challenges? You'll find out that most of our parents, when they find out that we are involved in substance, maybe cannabis, maybe alcohol, maybe cigarette, they will not be happy with us. They will not be happy because they know what could come out of it. So it might cause a lot of family crisis, and it might jeopardize a lot of aspects of the family life, sometimes resulting to family dysfunction. You find out that if your dad is not happy, your mom is not happy as a result of your own consequence, or as a result of your own substance use. So it has a whole lot of effect on the family dynamics. It plays a lot of effect. Then there's something we call the delinquents. There have been a relationship, a link between substance use and crime. Substance use and a lot of antisocial behaviors. You get involved in a lot of risky behaviors. They are fighting here, they are committing one crime, you are doing one thing. So substance, when you start using substance, it can cause a whole lot of delinquency issues. Before you know, at a very teenage age, you start talking about arrest, juvenile arrest, or juvenile justice system start chasing you about and all that. So it's always very, very better we do everything possible to abstain, stay away from substance. Then also the social and economic consequences of this substance. A lot of money. Substance is financially draining. If you don't know, ask anybody who is using substance, who is addicted to substance. Ask him how challenging it is financially. He would have spent so much money. You might start by spending small money, but when the addiction sets in, you might sell everything you have, okay, just to foot that habit. So it's very, very important for us to think of the challenges students or teenagers will have once you get involved in substance use. Then we talk about the effects of substance abuse and how it can lead to mental health issues. I wanted bringing it up. I wish I don't know how to put it now. You see, mental health issues is a whole lot. Okay, and I feel even at your age, you just have a brief idea of what mental illness is. Some of us have been hearing the word depression, and all those. Those are forms of mental illness, anxiety, stress, and all that. However, substance have proven that it has effect on our mental health. One of the major things is our brain, the brain chemistry altercations. Once you start using substance, it begins to mess with your brain. The neurotransmitters, such as the dopamine, the serotonin, okay, those are things that are in your brain. Those are things that are in your brain. Okay, once you start using substance, it begins to mess with those things. And those things are actually responsible for how you regulate your mood, how you regulate your behavior, how you regulate your motivations, how you regulate your emotions. So once this substance start messing with your brain, a lot of things get affected. You cannot control your mood anymore. You cannot think. Your memory is gone. Emotions is gone. Your behavior start behaving very funny. Even in school, You will be very funny that everybody, all your teachers will know that there's something wrong with this individual. You know, the chemistry, the brain chemistry is already being altered by this substance. So those are number one effect of substance use as it relates to mental health issues. Then sleep disturbance. The moment you start using substance use, you will not be able to sleep very well. You will find it very, very difficult to either initiate sleep or sustain sleep. You know, you will feel so irritable. You know, you feel so distressed. Even to sleep, you are even stressed, but to sleep becomes a problem. You can't even sleep. So when you start having most of these things, look, it might be as a result of substance use. And that's why I keep saying, this afternoon, the message or the awareness we're trying to create is, please don't get involved in substance use, whatever substance, from alcohol, because of all these consequences, because of all these effects it has on us, the challenges it has on us. You know, so stress, anxiety too has proven to be one major thing too. It's cause. You know, I used to have a friend when I was in university. He used to say he wants to take alcohol because he wants to be bold. You know, he wants to kill anxiety. For that reason, he wants to take alcohol so that the alcohol will give him this boldness. You know, and I keep telling him that, see, it's not the best way. Alcohol will only cause you problem. I give you a temporary relief. But you will find out that you get so addicted that even on a good day you want to present or you want to do anything, you cannot do without the presence of alcohol. And I can assure you, the day you don't have alcohol in your system, you will misbehave, you will mess up fully. So it's not something you can actually sustain. If you want to manage anxiety, there are so many ways you can manage anxiety without getting involved in substance. Then we also have a lot of factors it can affect, social and environmental factors. Drug abuse can lead to social isolation, relationship problem, and other environmental stressors that can contribute to mental health issues. You know, you will not be able to even relate very well socially. You won't be able to relate very well with your environment. You will isolate yourself, you know, once you start having substance use problem. And don't forget, I keep reminding us that please don't go into substance for whatever reason you find yourself. Then we have a lot of factors. We have cognitive impairment. You know, chronic drug user can impair cognitive functioning. We as students, we need to function cognitively, 100%. Cognitively, we need to function. But when you start using substance, I can tell you that your level of cognition will definitely reduce. There will be cognitive impairment in areas of decision making, you know, in the area of motivation, in the almost all the areas, judgment, your judgment becomes very poor, you know. So all this can contribute to mental health condition. Then we talk about depression. You know, substance can lead to feeling of sadness, hopelessness, and loss of interest in activities. Once you are using substance, I can tell you in a very long time, there might be indications for depression, you know. So it's always better for us to abstain from substance use. So what are we expected to do as students? I'm sure you're still with me, Abby. Hello, hope you're still with me.
Go on, Wale.
I hope you can hear me.
You're loud and clear.
All right, thank you very much, sir. So what are we expected to do as students, as teenagers? What is our role in substance abuse? And the first one I have here is peer influence. Peer influence. Students can set positive examples by just saying no to drugs and encouraging friends to do so. This afternoon, most of us know the type of drug I've mentioned this afternoon, substance I've mentioned this afternoon. It just takes you to build your willpower and said, I would never do drug. I would never do substance. And even if you have opportunity of coming across it, you just say no. You know, I've had opportunity of being a webinar, of a webinar like this, and they've told us about the consequences of this substance. So no friend Nobody will pressure me. Nobody will influence me to go into it. Then exposure to negative environments. We should always be very, very conscious of the kind of environment we find ourselves. We should be very, very conscious. Thank God we are all growing. There will be a stage that we want to go for parties, we want to go for this, we want to go for that. You know, they will drop some alcohol on your table. They will say, oh, come and do this, come and do that. You have the willpower to just say, no, I don't do all this. I just want to drink maybe soft drink, or I just want to drink water. Don't you have water or soft drink? I don't do alcohol. I don't take, just saying no can go a long way in actually helping you. Then as students as well, participating in programs, participating in programs that can enrich you. You know, in those days, we used to have the Jet Club. I don't know if it's still available now. Those days, we used to have the Jet Club. If you're a science student, we used to have the Rotary, is it Rotary or Interact Club? You know, these are clubs that when you join, they tell you about drug-free, activities. They give a lot of awareness, a lot of programs, educating on different areas, of humanity, different areas of mankind. So there are also some other clubs like drug-free club. There are a lot of events being organized today. You can volunteer, you can to create awareness. This can also help us, preach the message of prevention. And when you are doing so, you're also helping yourself to come alive and also be active. Then also education and awareness, spreading facts about the risks and consequences of substances, just like I have done this afternoon. Most of us have heard this message before. Most of us are hearing this message for the very first time. And the talking point is that we should always say no to psychoactive substance, say no to drugs. So when you create this awareness, you go to create this awareness, you talk to your friends, attend a talk show, do a lot of social, because we're in the social media age now, social media posts, all these counts, in creating awareness about the substance. As I'm educating you today, tomorrow you might be in this same chair, educating others. And that's why it's very, very important. We have to bring the message to you this afternoon so that you know what to do, and how to relate. Then also support system as well. Being a listening ears or shoulder to lean on for someone struggling can make a huge difference. Yes, don't say, I'm too small, I'm a teenager, what do I want to tell? You can also encourage your fellow teenager, on this drug use, like I've educated you today. The little information, knowledge you have, you can also share it. Or you see your friend probably drinking alcohol, you said, no, this thing you are doing is not right. It can cause you this condition. These are the consequences. By doing that, you're already supporting that individual. You must not be very knowledgeable, you must not be a professional, you must not be an adult for you to be able to provide a support. You can also provide a support for your friend as well. Then lastly, talk about reporting concerns. Okay? So when you find your friend, your fellow students, engaging in risky behaviors, going into substance, it is very important that you report those individuals either to your teachers, to your guardians, to even authorities in school. That does not mean you are snitching on that individual or that friend. It simply means that you are helping that individual. Because I can assure you, in the nearest future, he would come back and appreciate you for what you've done for him. So reporting any concerns, anybody getting involved in whatever substance is also very, very important. Also, I don't know if our family is here, our parents is here. I also have a message for them. The role was family and parents. Parents need to be parents again. By doing that, you have to monitor your children. You have to be very, very observant. You have to watch out for negative behaviors. When there's a change in your children, in your words, you should be able to spot that. So parents needs to be parents again. We must be very observant of early behavioral change in order to quickly arrest whatever unusual behavior or negative behavior you've seen in your child. So it's these are very, very important things we should, we as parents, we as teachers, should watch out for. We must be emotionally present in the life of our children and siblings. This is also very, very important. We should be emotionally, these days now, globalization has taken, or industrialization has taken the fact that we need to go to work, we need to make a living, we need to hustle, and neglect most of our responsibilities as parents. So it's very, very important that we should also be emotionally involved in the life of our children as well. We must create a positive family atmosphere, both for prayers and have a family discussion. Like I keep saying, communication in the family is very, very important. Having a communication pattern, a right communication pattern in the family is always very, very important. The kind of family where your children cannot walk up to the father, they cannot speak to the father freely or the parent freely, he is always scared of sharing how he feels or his emotions with his family. In that kind of family, it's not a positive atmosphere at all. And substance use, you can start laying the foundation for early substance use for that child, because that individual will be going through a lot of issues, and he will need to relate most of these things. And when he doesn't have that platform, he will seek other means to medicate, as a kind of defense mechanism to release most of this energy. So it's very, very important for us to create a positive family atmosphere, both in prayers and having a family discussion. And also, we must be a primary role model for our children, which is very, very important, and to enable them not to enable their errant behaviors. These days you have a lot of children who do a lot of things. The parents just say, let him be, he's still a child, he's growing. A child of 12 years old now knows so much, and even an adult knows. With this age we are now, a 12 years old, a 15 years old, you want to know what that child would have known. It's far beyond what we as adults even know. So it's always very, very important not to enable our children in errant behaviors. Let's also involve them in matters concerning them before taking decisions on their behalf. This is very, very important. And one of those areas I want to talk about is, type of course the child wants to score. Oh, you want this child to study medicine. Is this child emotionally, physically, academically prepared to study medicine? Is he prepared to study law? Does he have what it takes? And then I was like, oh, I just want to do something different. I just want to do computer science. I just want to do theater arts. So it's always very, very important to involve them in matter that concerns them. It should not be about we. It's also whatever plans you are taking, you also put them into consideration as well. Then the last one, talk about the role of the school, authorities, school authorities. Strict monitoring of these children is also very, very important. Educate their students through knowledge of substances, just like we are doing now. And that's why I want to applaud Edgewood College for bringing this to their students, which is very, very important. We need to constantly educate them, not only about substance use. There are a whole lot of things in society today that social media, effect of social media, a lot of things that we can talk about, So I just want to appreciate the school management for actually bringing up this webinar, so that the student can actually be educated. Then school mental health programs. I was in a school about before December, that December period, a school somewhere in Ota, and I looked at in a term, they have a lot of activities, and most of those activities have to do with mental health program, different topics, which I was called on to talk about some of those topics. And when I looked at the program, previous people that have come to the school to present, I was so impressed. So schools should also have such kind of mental health programs for their students. When you keep educating them, because sometimes you might not really have that professional in that school to actually help them with most of this stuff. Apart from probably the counseling unit, which we talk about the career development and all that. But these are some main topics that I feel the student needs to be educated about. Then also training, sporting activities is also very, very important. As a school, we're supposed to have the right sporting activities, good playing ground, because these are things that can actually help students mentally, help them grow mentally, help reset them, help recreate them, So these are some of the things I expect schools, school authority to also put together. So we talk about prevention plans for teenagers and students. First, we talk about avoiding substance users. First way to prevent substance, avoid anybody that is using substance, please kindly stay away from them. They cannot be your friend. Don't be friends with them. don't be friends with them. Anybody you see that probably using alcohol, using any form of substance, please don't be close to them. Avoiding or limiting substance can also have addiction potential. I didn't even
Excuse me, sir.
Yep.
Please, you can just help us round off because
yes, I'm already rounding up.
Yeah, we're supposed to close by 3:30.
I'm rounding up already. So we have some other things like knowing family history, managing stress, and the rest of that. Then we talk about treatment. Sometimes too, when an individual already have substance use, the right ways to come to the hospital so that you can be properly treated. We have a whole lot of facility in terms of medication, detoxification, rehabilitation. You have go through a lot of therapy sessions. So it's sometimes so cumbersome, and that's why I keep advising that we don't start what we cannot finish. So at this stage, we can actually arrest the whole situation by creating the awareness so that we don't get involved in substance use. On that note, I want to hand over to my HOD to probably say one or two things before we hand up. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Wale, for this. Okay. They are clapping for you.
Thank you very much. I'll make the slides available. I think someone requested for the slides. I'll make it available. Thank you.
Okay. Am I loud and clear enough?
Yes, sir. You are loud and clear, sir. Thank you.
Moderator, thank you very much. This is about mental health. We were able to just manage that time and see how we'll be able to just cover most of the areas. And I just want the children, I'm going to take only less than a minute to look at just 5 points that I want them to take home. One, the damage that drugs can do. He talked about it affecting the brain development. It affects your memory, the way you take decision, and also your impulsive control. You also mentioned about mental health issues, which ranges from depression, anxiety, and major mental breakdown, like hearing voices that other people don't hear, seeing things that other people can't see. And those are the damages that drug use can cause, damages that drug abuse can cause. And the major one is academic struggle. There will be down turn of your grades, you will not be attending school regularly, and also overall academic decline would also be observed. Then the risk behavior, which is also attached, or which can be easily linked to drug use, which range from reckless decision taking, accidents, grievous mistakes, and even unsafe sex. Because you are exposed now. There are so many things you know, because you also teach about sex education in school. But drugs can cloud your judgment. And when drug clouds your judgment, it affects your decision. So total abstinence is what we are talking about. Total abstinence is what we are talking about. And that is what we expect. Thank you very much. Moderator?
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes. Thank you so much, Savior. Thank you so much. We are actually working with time, so we are only 2 minutes late now.
Thank you, sir. We are so grateful for the presentation. Thank you so much, doctors. Thank you for the presentation on substance abuse. We've learned a lot, and we will be so glad to have.
Savior, I was going to call on some of the students, maybe just 2 of them, which I've identified while this program is going on. I'm going to go to 6th form. I don't know if there's a teacher there. 6th form. There are 2 young lads there wearing, I'm sure that's a navy blue top and a brown khaki pants, or khaki brown chinos, brown pants. So I'm going to call on one of them, the one on the left. I don't know your name, yes, to tell me what he or she has benefited from this discussion. Sixth form. The two young men in front, they are in front there. Yes, yes. What have you benefited?
Can we just do that in a jiffy, please, so that we can wrap up? Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning,
Good afternoon. Afternoon.
Sir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So from what I learned from this topic today is that there are lots of different drugs that people like our age, teenagers, really get addicted to. And we have to have the mental fortitude, the willpower to not want to do these drugs. These drugs are very bad for us. They like kill us, and also very judgmental and mental. Just because we see other people taking drugs and the people that we like, people we think are popular, doesn't mean we should also take drugs. Because it's not good for us. Just because they're doing it doesn't mean it's good. Don't follow people who do bad things. In general, drugs are just like bad, especially stuff like marijuana, smoking especially, can also be very detrimental to your health and has very long-term repercussions, even though it might seem good now. It's not good long-term. So please stay away from drugs.
Thank you very much, Okwe. So I go to year 10B. I have three girls there, one in blue, one in green, then the one in yellow, and I'm going for the yellow.
Please, sir, can they respond to you via email, because the parents are already waiting?
Just 30 seconds, she's done. We are done. Let us hear their voice. What we are doing is very important. We won't do it tomorrow.
Noted, sir.
Okay. So they are there. There's one in green and yellow. She's not responding. Okay, we will still, because of time, we hold on to what Okwe has said. Okwe has given a very good summary. So thank you very much, Xavier, for delving into your time.
Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you as a community. We thank you so much for the presentation, and the responses that are coming from our students shows that they understand what has been taught today. We will also respond to you through emails by the time our students go through the materials that are being presented today. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you once again.
I've sent it to your IT man.
Yes, sir.
I've sent it to you now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Phillips. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ajirotutu. Thank you, Dr. Ibioko, for your time today. Very insightful session. We'll be sure that we'll be inviting you over soon again. Thank you, and God bless you. Enjoy your weekend, everybody.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Phillips. Thank you, everyone, for today's presentation. I think we have learned a lot. And one thing I wanted to go on with is that, remember our honor pledge that says no cover-ups are allowed. Of course, as such, you should not cover up for anyone. The doctor said, if you find anyone doing this, you should report to the authority. So don't keep quiet, because if you don't report it, it means you are aiding and abetting something that will destroy life in the future. God bless you. I'd like us to rise and say the college confession. For the spirit of the law in Christ Jesus has set me free from the law of sin and death. And so sin shall not have dominion over me. But the same spirit that raised Christ from the dead dwells inside of me and quickens my mortal body to the glory of his holy name. Amen. God bless you. Enjoy your weekend. Tomorrow, if you have been shortlisted for sports in your various houses, we are going to Yabatech. Now, ensure that you remind your parents that our sports is coming up very soon, that they should pay in all the contributions in your various houses, and then ensure that you are well groomed. Fix your hair before you come to school on Monday. Boys and the girls, God bless you. Look presentable.
Otherwise, no participation.
Yes, ma. Thank you. God bless you.
Inform your houses, everybody. Thank you.
Please, so don't miss sport because of your hair. God bless you. Have a wonderful time.
Choices.
Excuse me, ma.